Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coach Craig Sports. Today is Wednesday, so we're going to be taking a look at the starts and sits for the Thursday night football matchup between the New York Jets and the Indianapolis Colts. I also mentioned yesterday in my video, if you watched it as well, that I'd talk about some of the trades from the trade deadline. However, there really hasn't been any that impacted fantasy football overall, so we're not going to focus on that too much. I don't think you really want to hear me talk about guys like Melvin Ingram and Charles Omenihu and just other guys like that. Nobody that really impacted fantasy football overall. There was some other news. Aaron Rodgers had tested positive for COVID, so we'll just talk about that real quick. So he's not going to play this week. Jordan Love's going to be the starter. Just temporary expectations for this Packers team overall. We'll talk into that a little bit more when we get to the starts and sits on Saturday, though. But as far as this game goes, the line for the Thursday night football game, the over-under is 45.5 points. This could go both ways. It could go over and it could go under. Both these teams, they've been hit or miss throughout the season. The Colts are 10.5 point favorites in this one. I think that's a pretty wide margin, especially considering that the Jets actually did end up beating the Cincinnati Bengals last week, who prior to that point were the best team in the AFC, record-wise at least. And the Colts have just been really hit or miss all season, honestly. The implied point total for this game is about 17.5 points for the Jets, so about 2 touchdowns and a field goal. And then the Colts, 28 points, so 4 touchdowns or a couple touchdowns, couple field goals. Overall, not too far off there, probably. The Jets may be able to score a little bit more points if they're able to move the ball the way they did last week against Cincinnati, but some of that was due to poor tackling. Mike White, he went over 400 yards, but he didn't complete a pass that traveled more than 15 yards in the air. That's kind of crazy when you think about that stat, actually. We can move over to the starts and sits now. So on the Jets side, we got Mike White. You don't want to start Mike White unless you're like in a super flex or a 2 QB league. That's the only exception where you could start him. Last week's probably more of a fluke than anything at this point in time. Michael Carter, I'd feel comfortable starting him as a running back 2 once again this week. Ty Johnson, he's kind of like a flex play. If you need to go there in like a PPR league, you could definitely do it. However, just remember the rules. If you start a player on Thursday night, you do not put them in your flex spot, so you put Ty Johnson in your running back spot. Just allows you more flexibility later. Corey Davis, looking like he's going to be out again in this one. He did not practice the first 2 days this week. I have not seen a practice report for today, though. Obviously, if he's playing, you could play him, but the fact that he has not practiced yet this week, I do not assume that he's going to play in this game. Give him the extra days off, give him the extra rest for his hip injury. Jamison Crowder, as long as Corey Davis ain't playing, Jamison Crowder's looking pretty nice. Wide receiver 3 that you can start if you need to do so this week. Looks a little bit better in PPR formats. Then Elijah Moore, he's had back-to-back double-digit performances, but it's kind of fluky. He only played 36% of snaps last week. Got 7 touches on 30 snaps, so I don't expect that trend to continue. Yeah, they don't have a lot of playmakers right now, but if he's not even out on the field when Corey Davis isn't playing, I have a lot of concerns there. So he's going to be a sit for me. Denzel Mims is also a sit. Played like 70% of snaps this past week. Had, I believe, 2 catches for like 30 yards. That was it. Not super excited about that. Or it was 3 catches for 40 yards. I can't remember off the top of my head. One of the two. And then they have Keelan Cole, who's going to be a sit as well. So I'm just not really interested in this Jets team too much overall outside of Michael Carter and Jamison Crowder. Corey Davis, if he magically plays, you could potentially start him, but I probably wouldn't risk it at this point in time since he has been injured. Tyler Kroft's going to be a sit. Jets defense, they're probably a middle of the pack defense this week. Carson Wentz has been known to make some turnovers, but Jets defense is nothing special, so they're going to be a sit for me as well. Matt Amendola, the kicker, he's going to be a sit. He's one of the bottom tier kickers overall on this season. Then on the Colts side of the ball, we got Carson Wentz. I think you can start him up here again. He's had a run of good luck playing good matchups overall, so he's going to be a start for me. Jonathan Taylor's a start. Nyheim Hines, I'm not sure if I mentioned this stat on my channel yet, but there was a post put out, about 2-3 weeks ago where it talked about Nyheim Hines in games where the Colts are trailing by at least 7.5 points or predicted to be 7.5 point underdogs. Nyheim Hines averages 13.3 points a game. The rest of the game's like 5 points a game. So I don't expect them to be trailing against the Jets, so he's going to be a sit for me. And probably one of the biggest things about the trade deadline is they did not trade Marlon Mack. I don't think he's going to be super involved since we didn't really see him last week, and it seems like more or less they were just kind of getting him out there to try to audition for other teams. So not really too concerned about him, more of a handcuff more than anything at this point in time. Michael Pittman Jr., start him up. He's been great this year, super awesome, and I'm excited to see it because he was one of my favorite wide receivers in that 2020 class overall. Zach Pascal, he's going to be a sit. T.Y. Hilton's not playing in this game, so he's also going to be a sit. The Colts tight ends, if you're really, really desperate, you could play Mo Cox, but I wouldn't go there. I think there's a lot better options out there this week. Heck, you can even pick up an Albert Okwuegbunam, who is probably going to start this week for the Denver Broncos because Noah Fant's on the COVID list. Noah Fant might play, but there's a pretty good chance that he's not going to at this point in time. Colts defense, you can play them this week. They've been all right. Not like super great or anything like that, but it's still going against Mike White, who's, making his second career start. Like, yeah, he got lucky against the Bengals, but is that going to happen 2 times in a row? Probably not. And then last but not least, Michael Badgley, the kicker. He is, kind of middle of the road kicker. If you need to play him, go right ahead. If you don't need to play him, if you got a different kicker that you feel comfortable with, just play that kicker instead. But with that being said, that's a quick little rundown for the Thursday night football matchup between the Indianapolis Colts and the New York Jets. If you have any questions regarding starts and sits for this game, feel free to leave them down in the comments. I think it's a pretty simplistic game, though. There's probably only 5 or 6 players that you want to start in this matchup if you include the Colts defense. So not super exciting games. Some of these Thursday night games have not been the best overall, but hey, we're still going to end up watching them, and the NFL knows that. But with that being said, if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. It helps to build a community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your fantasy football teams, helping you with your DFS, whether it's NFL or NBA, covering a little bit of NFL news and injuries here and there. I'll be talking a little bit more about that in the starts and sits video on Saturday as well. And then with that being said, if you are a new or current subscriber who's yet to do so, also hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I upload a video, and I upload a lot of them because NBA DFS videos every single day, fantasy football, NFL DFS videos 5 times during the week as well. So definitely be on the lookout for that content overall throughout the week. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special little shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.